National anthem, you can sing along. As this our life. Let us give the recognition to our national anthem by giving it a clap that it deserves. Asanteni sana. I will request you to take your seats. My name is Jacqueline Waihenya. I am the Vice Chairman of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry here in Mombasa, the Mombasa chapter. And we want to take this opportunity to welcome you all, the business community of Mombasa County 001. Kindly turn to your neighbor and tell them, Karibuni Mombasa County 001. Kweli wanabiashara wa Mombasa, kweli tumekaribishana vizuri ama ni kidogo tu? Tukaribishane kabisa vizuri na vigelegele kama sisi watu wa Mombasa raha. Thank you all. Thank you, Mombasa. Thank you for all the wonderful things that you have done. And today we are starting off a new era. Ambia mwenzako, tuko katika mfumo mpya. Mfumo wa the second governor of Mombasa County. Mna furaha? Sisikii ya furaha, sioni, sihisi. Tuko na furaha? Akina mama shangwe na vigelegele ziko ama hazipo? Yes, sasa we sound like we are from Mombasa. Yes, that is a good Mombasa welcome to the second governor of the county of Mombasa. And what is his name? Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir. Na ako hapa na sisi wakati tunatafuta nafasi ya kufanya biashara kwa mfumo mpya. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for heeding the call to come for the Kenya National Chamber and Commerce dinner. Thank you for your patience. I know we have been waiting for a while. Before we kickstart today's event, I want to request anybody who is a CEO of their company or a director or a member of the secretariat to stand up. We give you a high five. CEO mmoja hapo nimemuona. Kuna CEO mwingine? CEO manake ni nini? Ama tuseme mkurugenzi, wakurugenzi? My director? Yes, see, we are there. Wacha ni wakati ya siri wenzangu. Mimi kwa ujuzi wangu najua mtu yeyote ambaye ako kwa biashara, either anafanya kwa secretariat ya kampuni yake, ama yeye ni CEO, ama yeye ni director. Simameni mtambulike, tuwapigie makofi tukiwa pamoja. Thank you. You may be seated. I stand here for and on the behalf of the chairman of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Mombasa, Mr. Mustafa Ramadhan. Tunamjua? Tunamtambua? Chairman, utasimama utambulike hata wewe. That is our host, and he will be speaking to us. As you know, the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, not only here in Kenya, but around the world, is the umbrella body for all business member organizations, professional and business, as well as anything to do with commerce, marketing, regional engagements and connections. With the chairman present today is a group of directors who are very cohesive. Huwa tukiingia kwa boardroom, tunaongea pamoja, tunawasiliana, tunashirikiana, and we work as one team. If you're a director of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, please stand up so that we may also recognize you. Shukran, directors. This is your doing. We have a secretariat led by our CEO, Mr. James Kitavi. Maybe you and your team can stand and wave to us from where you are so that we can know that you're presently here. Thank you, James. Bwana Governor, we work very closely with other business management organizations. And with your permission and the permission of my chairman, you'll allow me to recognize some of them. Some of them are sitting with you, and some are within the meeting. Allow me to start in no particular order by recognizing the chairman of the Kenya Transport Association, Mr. Newton Wango. Tunamuona. Anatambulika. Simama tafadhali utambulike. That is the chairman of KTA. Thank you, Chairman. We also have representing the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, Shafia. Shafia, where are you? There you are. There is Mr. Shafia. That is Shafiq. Oh, sorry, nimesema oh, excuse me, that one. My sincere apologies. Somebody's name is a very important thing. Mr. Shafiq. Tumpatie makofi ya Shafiq. Thank you very much. From the Kenya Association of Hotel Keepers and Caterers, we have Mr. Sami Kwaya. Mr. Kwaya, I know you're here somewhere. Usijifiche, wakati wako wa kutambulika umewadia. Mr. Sami Kwaya, maybe he has stepped aside for a moment. Allow me also to recognize from Kifwa, the national chair, Mr. Roy Mwathe. Thank you. Kifwa utakuja kututambulia manake ni nini? We know it's Kenya, something forwarding. But it's Kifwa National Director, Mr. Roy Mwathe. We have from the Car Importers Association, Mr. Peter Otieno also with us here this evening. Mr. Peter Otieno, that is Mr. Peter Otieno, he's to my right. And we have the SME Secretary General, Mr. Ronald Alwanga. I hope I pronounced it correctly. He's right at the back there. Allow me to take this opportunity before I recognize other BMOs or professional organizations by taking this opportunity to recognize the presence of the Executive Director of Gulf Africa, Mr. Abdallah Abdul Khalid. He's there at the front table. The guys at the back, do you want to see him? And sitting right next to you, Mr. Governor-elect, is, I think the best way we can describe him is our homegrown, the local influencer who speaks about Mombasa and is eternally optimistic. He is always an optimist, Mr. Mohammed Hersi. Thank you very much. I will take this opportunity to request a I must admit, I am the vice chairman of the Mombasa Law Society as well. So if you belong to the Society of the Learned Friends, please stand up so that we can also recognize the members of the Mombasa Law Society. Sheila, I can see you. Please don't hide. Let the people know who the legal eagles are. There they are. I can see Jack as well. I'm sorry, I can't see you at the back, but wave. My specs can't. Yes, there are quite a number of people right at the back. Thank you, and I know our Secretary General should be amongst that team as well. I think the one other person I would want to take this opportunity to recognize, because it's important to appreciate those who have come before us, is our former chair of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Ms. Rukia. Thank you, beautiful people. Thank you, business community of Mombasa, for coming together, taking the call, agreeing to come and meet our new governor. He is not a stranger to us. I think we are very proud of him. He has done a great deal for Mombasa, representing Mvita constituency. I think he has one of the best track records. And I think I speak for and on the behalf of each and every person who is present, Mr. Governor-elect, that we are looking forward to working with you as a business community. We feel a lot of joy and hope. And I think from today, we can say we want to recover that moniker that we always had. We have always been Mombasa Raha. Lakini tumekuwa na shida fulani. I know Mr. Wango has been spending a lot of time in court trying to bring the port back together to Mombasa. And we know that we've had to deal with COVID, and we've had to deal with even international wars which have affected our supply chains. We hope that we'll be able to talk to you about these things, tell you what our aspirations are, and we are looking forward to a great engagement with you and your government moving forward. I think all I can say now, because my role was really to just welcome the governor and the members of the business community to this networking event, is that we want to hear what you have for us. We are hoping that you keep an open door policy, and you will walk with us as we take Mombasa to where it is expected and should go, all things considered. Now, Mr. Governor, I know I was just to welcome you, and that is where I will stop, because we do have something to eat and drink, and I'm hoping that our MC for the day, Samora Machel, the program today. Thank you very much. Karibuni sana. Let the networking begin. Makofi kwenu, makofi kwetu. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, my Wakili. Can we give Wakili a big round of applause? So, at the chamber, we are led by very brilliant minds. Wakili is one of them as the chair. She advises us on how to go about things legally, and we've been engaging with the other stakeholders within the legal framework. So thank you, Wakili. Today, the main reason why we came here is to listen to our governor. But our governor has a host. Our host is our chair, Mr. Mustafa. I would like to request you to come, say a word. Okay. Mr. Mustafa. Mr. Mustafa. This is it. Ebwana. So, I stand guided by my chair, and my chair has given me a program that we need to go by strictly. He has said he doesn't want to start. So we're going to do sector representatives from different sectors. And the first person that we wish to invite on stage is from the Clearing and Forwarding Fraternity, Mr. Salim Nasib. Mr. Salim, please come and say something.
Asante sana Bwana Samora Machel, if I get it right. I thought first it was the president of Mozambique being introduced. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. His Excellency, the Governor-elect, Bwana Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir, a good friend of mine, a colleague whom I've known for many years. The Chamber of Commerce, Mombasa chapter, Mr. Mustafa. We expected some honorable members also to come, but I'm seeing the governor-elect alone. Captains of industries, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to add my voice in congratulating first and foremost the governor-elect for his resounding victory during the just concluded elections. Well done, Bwana Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir, and congratulations from the business community. Of course, special thanks to the Chamber for convening this event. Mombasa must definitely mean business. There are no two ways about it. Thanks to the port of Mombasa, Kenya is pronounced as being placed in a key strategic location in East and Central Africa. And the Mombasa port, therefore, the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, are both recognized as critical in serving the maritime and air freight needs of the region. The Mombasa port, defined as the gateway to the East African links a big part of the Northern Corridor that commences from Mombasa and ends in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We are in the logistics industry. We are logistics service providers, and therefore the port of Mombasa is key to ensuring our service delivery to both in this country and the region. In recent years, improvements in the logistics infrastructure and trade facilitation measures along the Northern Corridor, trade routes in East Africa have been at the forefront of the regional integration agenda. Of course, customs procedures have been simplified, automated, and to a large extent, standardized between member states. Cargo clearing timeline at ports have significantly reduced, while transit times across the transport corridors have reduced with the introduction of measures to eliminate the non-tariff barriers, NTBs, the reduction and automation of way bridges. I think Bwana chairman of KTA, can confess to this. And the automation, and the introduction of one-stop border posts. You know, before the introduction of the one-stop border posts, we had very serious delays at the borders when we want to clear cargo across to our transit countries. The throughput at the port of Mombasa, therefore, has consistently increased given the increase in the economies of the regional countries. Over the last 5 years, rising from 30.5 million metric tons in 2017 to 34.5 million tons in 2021. This increase can be attributed to a rise in liquid and containerized cargo. Data that we have shows that the countries using the port of Mombasa are net importers, with imports accounting to 79% of the total port cargo throughput. Whilst the volume of transshipment cargo through the port of Mombasa has also significantly increased to 0.46 million metric tons in 2021, accounting to 7% of the total throughput. Transshipment cargo, by the way, is one of the captive cargo through the port of Mombasa. And if you look at the most successful ports in the world, the examples of Singapore, they're doing very well because 75% of what goes through the port of Singapore is transshipment cargo. And the need therefore for the port authorities to put a lot of efforts in capturing this lucrative cargo. This increases reflects the expansion of trade in transit routes and nations, particularly Uganda, which accounts for 76% of the regional transit traffic through Mombasa Port. In 2021, containerized cargo accounted for 42% of overall cargo throughput at the seaport of Mombasa. Now, the total container traffic increased also by 5.1% from 1.3 million TEUs in 2020 to 1.345 in 2021, indicating a resurgence in economic activities in the region. This performance, therefore, demonstrates that the port of Mombasa is growing in importance in the African region. In 2021, the total tonnage transported by SGR, and SGR has its own positives and negatives, which we shall highlight. But the SGR moved around 444,962 container TEUs, with imports accounting to 57% and exports accounting to only 4%. Without an iota of doubt, a number of towns, business centers, owe their existence along the 1660-kilometer long northern corridor to the Mombasa port. Towns such as Mariakani, Athi River, Malaba, the Kenya-Ugandan border, and even Busia, Kenya-Ugandan border, for example, are those towns that have grown courtesy of the operations at the port of Mombasa. What would happen, therefore, if we did not have the port of Mombasa? That is a question that is put to the business community today. The economic development of our neighbors on the northern corridor is also linked to the port of Mombasa. We have seen the numbers of port performances, and some of us here are awed by the numbers. Some are confused by the numbers. The media are definitely excited. Kenya Revenue Authority are definitely happier in terms of revenue that they collect. And what part of the elephant are you holding or touching as a business community? I would wish to ask, out of the 34 million metric tons that the port throughput, how much of this is consumed locally in Mombasa? This is a very sensitive question that our governor has also to give it a very serious thought. And therefore, that tells you we are not doing very well as a port city. The need, therefore, to move very fast and come up with strategies to industrialize the port of Mombasa, so that becomes not only beneficial to the transit countries and the up country, but also a big benefit to the Mombasa port city. How does this compare with Dar es Salaam? And what stops us from creating Mombasa as a seaport, as I said earlier, to an industrial port? Of course, we have the Shippers Council of East Africa. We have our Kenya International Freight and Warehousing Association. We have CAM, Kenya Association of Manufacturers, and other stakeholders who, when brought together and work together, and KTA, of course, will work up on modalities to see that, of course, working very closely with the governor and the county government, the governor-elect, and the county government of Mombasa will realize this dream of Mombasa becoming an industrial seaport. Just like the other seaports we see in the world, we are looking at the likes of Hamburg, Rotterdam, Singapore, Durban. These are ports, but they are also industrialized seaports. It's therefore a challenge to this county and to the government, to the county government of Mombasa. The Shippers Council has estimated through their studies that only between 5 to 7% of the domestic cargo is consumed in Mombasa, with over 90% consumed in Nairobi, and this has nothing to do with SGR, and which is at most carries only 40% of containerized cargo upcountry annually. The chief guests, the governor-elect, and distinguished guests, here lies the silver lining. Getting Mombasa growing and becoming an industrial port city. We have over the years also experienced some challenges, and we are asking ourselves what would happen if the business community, the county government and the national government worked together to improve the businesses or the business environment in Mombasa, grant tax breaks. You know, taxes within the county, I must admit, and the business community here can confess, they are one of the highest, and of course has a direct impact negatively to increase the volume of business in this port. Therefore, there's need, as you take over, there's need as a governor to look into this. We have also to make a decision to support manufacturing. Kenya Association of Manufacturers, I believe, are around. So as a county governor-elect, there's need to look at how we can support the manufacturing sector. Indeed, only then we would see the multiplier benefits towards improving the industrial area roads, because roads at the industrial area are also not in good quality to support manufacturing. Water supplies has been an issue. It has been an ongoing concern to the business community. The ease of traffic congestion. You are aware, early in the mornings and late in the evenings, during the rush hours, we have issues. The delays are costs that need to be addressed by all of us. But of course, the county government has to take the lead. We have to create economic zones. I think there is one that is coming up at Dongo Kundu. So there's need to up the pace so that we benefit against the losses on SGR operations. So all this, of course, will generate business opportunities to this county, the beloved county 001, or our beloved country 001. In conclusion, and part of the many stakeholders, allow me to state that a lot needs to be done to improve the port and the northern corridor efficiency, as evidenced in delays. We have a lot of delays in cargo clearance, which is a cost, and it adds up to negate industrialization, both within Mombasa and, of course, in our country at large and the region. We have penalties for even very small offenses, and high taxation regime that has also to be revisited. If we look at Zanzibar, the president the other day talked about the fact that he doesn't believe in increased taxation, but rather reduced taxation so that you expand the tax base and collect more instead of increasing and have a less and less taxes collected. So it cuts across the counties and generally the government of Kenya. We call therefore upon the members of the National Assembly, I expected some to be here, and the political leadership to make it a priority to bring to House bills that will help reduce taxation regimes and perhaps stay discussions on your remuneration, because you are over remunerated to the effect that we then have less finances to develop other areas. Just to conclude, I would now address or raise issues about the elephant in the house, the SGR. I think all of us know the impact, the socio-economic impact that the SGR has affected the county, sorry, not only the county, but the government of Kenya in terms of increased costs of doing business. There was a study, and the outgoing governor sponsored some 2 years back from the University of Nairobi. The outcome was very clear that the SGR has affected the business in Mombasa to the extent that even the county government has registered a loss of 30% of its generated revenues annually. We are forced, we are compelled, and I'm glad our governor-elect has been, and his other political leaders who are still in authority, MPs, Honorable Faki, Honorable Mwinyi, and of course the president, the governor-elect, Bwana Abdul Samad, have been in the forefront to fight for the compelling of the use of SGR, both in Parliament and at one time, Bwana Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir came down to just confirm with us whether the SGR are forcing people or they are not. I can confirm without any reasonable doubt, yes, they are still being forced, and we need to revisit that issue very, very fast. It's one of the important issues that is affecting Mombasa today, besides what I've raised over my report. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best, Bwana Governor and your team, and wish all the Mombasa people and the business community a very successful remaining quarter of the year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Salim. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Asante sana, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Salim. Mr. Salim represents the clearing and forwarding sector. Mr. Salim, unfortunately, when you're speaking, people started eating. So, na hakika kuna maneno mawili matatu hivi zimewapita. But the governor is an approachable person. He will give us an audience where we will articulate all these issues in detail. And I am sure he has the best interest of the Mombasa at heart. Ni mtu wa mtaani. Asante. So I'm going to call the next person, Mr. Shafiq from the Kenya Association of Manufacturers. Please come, make your remark. And my advice is the shorter you keep it, the better they will understand. Thank you. Mr. Shafiq Makrani, Kenya Association of Manufacturers. Thank you, boss.
Bwana Abdul Samad, the elect Governor of Mombasa, Team KNCCI, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I want to start with thanking the Mombasa residents for a very peaceful election and selecting and electing the right person. We as manufacturers, we are here, we stand with the government of our elected governor and the people of Mombasa. We contribute on many resources when it comes to manufacturing. We bring a huge revenue, and not only that, but we also create jobs. All we need right now is a support from incoming government to help increase the investors and existing manufacturers to come up with better and more cost-effective manufacturing. Mombasa is not new to you. And one thing I really admire about you is when you have served 10 years as an MP from Vita, you looked beyond the boundaries of Vita. It was not just Vita constituency, but you are everywhere in the interest of Mombasa. Likewise, I have no doubt that you are going to look beyond the boundaries of Mombasa County. I know you are going to work hand in hand with the neighboring counties and the rest of the counties which are doing business with Mombasa, because we are connected with the port. Mr. Salim, thank you so much. You have actually cut down my speech a bit shorter, and you have actually covered quite a lot of points that I wanted to bring up, and I'm glad you did that. Now, we have one kind of an issue, I would say that, but I will not bring all the issues now because I know Bwana Abdul Samad is very approachable, and we soon going to lobby with all the manufacturers, and we'll have a courtesy visit to his office, and we'll discuss more on our issues. But one thing which always we talk about is let's make it easy to cross the borders for manufacturers, because when we bring in goods, let's say we bring in goods from Kilifi County to Mombasa, there's a cess levy. There are charges which manufacturers are paying, but if you look at it, it's not manufacturers they are paying, it's actually the Wananchi who's going to buy the product are going to pay, because a manufacturer is going to pass that in his costing. So let's look at that in the interest of the Wananchis, the residents of Mombasa. Finally, I'm glad that you are actually having a good support from KNCCI. It's a big muscles. The very muscular people in KNCCI, the team KNCCI is very strong, and so is Kenya Association of Manufacturers, and our friends here from Kifwa and from Clearing, Forwarding and Tourism. Mr. Harsi is also here. You know, Mr. Harsi is very vocal. We always see him. He's a person with no filters, and he speaks his heart out in the interest of people. So you have support from all of us, and I can assure you that we'll all work together and we'll make this Mombasa County the best. So with these few remarks, I have no doubt that you're going to bring back the glory of Mombasa. Asante sana, and congratulations to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Shafiq. Thank you for keeping it short. You've ensured tutakula tu sahi. So I would like to recognize the presence of the governor-elect for Taita Taveta, the governor, because he's already assumed office. The governor, His Excellency Andrew Mwadime. Asante sana, karibu sana boss. Mombasa hapa tunapenda wageni. So I wish to invite a representative from the SME and informal sector, Madam Ann Babu. Stima Sako, tutakuja, tuwekeze. Karibu sana Ann, watu wana njaa dada, watu wana njaa. Neno moja, mbili, tosha. Sio?
Moja mbili, lakini cash is king.
Agreed.
Bwana Samora. I am Ann Babu. He has missed Ochieng, so I needed to remind him that. So the chief guests, His Excellency Honorable Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir, Governor-elect Mombasa County, Mr. Mohammed Mustafa Ramathan, sincere apologies, Chairman, Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, Mombasa Chapter, Mrs. Jacqueline Waihenya, Vice Chairperson, Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, Mombasa Chapter, all Kenya National Chamber of Commerce directors, my fellow sector representatives, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening. I'm privileged to be representing the other gender apart from Madam Waihenya. So please, good evening. Thank you. It is my greatest pleasure to be amongst you tonight as we chart the way forward for the business community and in this great county of ours, Mombasa. I take the earliest opportunity to congratulate His Excellency Honorable Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir upon his resounding victory as governor of this great county of Mombasa. Your Excellency, Alexandra Harvard said, humility is a second virtue specific to leaders, whereas magnanimity affirms our personal dignity and greatness, humility affirms the dignity and greatness of others. Leadership means pulling rather than pushing, teaching rather than ordering about, inspiring rather than berating. Thus, leadership is less about displays of power than the opportunity of empowerment of others. To practice humility is to bring out the greatness in others, to give them the capacity to realize that human potential is great. In this sense, leaders are always teachers and fathers and mothers. Humility is the habit of serving others. A leader, follower, and serving the people. Your Excellency, I can confirm that your leadership is of great humility. We look forward to it. Your vision is great. We join to bring it to pass and can't wait to see you and your great initiatives for this county. I would like to thank the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry alongside the county government of Mombasa for hosting this imperative gathering. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, this meeting comes very early in the term of His Excellency Abdul Swamad Nasir and gives us an opportunity to relate and to put matters to perspective while informing the development agenda for the county. I request Your Excellency, as you develop the County Integrated Development Plan, the CIDP, which captures the aspiration of this county to collaborate with your friend, Mr. Mustafa, the Chamber, and the cooperative movement over the next 5 years of your term, and possibly more, that I know. I am here tonight as a critical stakeholder that can inform your aspirations of the county as a servant leader, as a corporate member of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, and also as a representative of the cooperative movement representing Stima Sacco region. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to turn my focus to a critical matter of the importance of supporting SMEs and our informal sector. Let's begin by discussing some numbers, and according to a World Bank report, which accounts for 80.8% of jobs, the informal sector is the backbone of every economy. Mombasa alone, about 70% of employment is drawn from this sector. The vibrancy of the informal sector is difficult to miss in Africa. So the urban informal economy is particularly common among the youth aged between 15 and 24. Women, 92.1%. And the important contributor to poverty alleviation is provision of employment opportunities, because the youth and the SME sector and the informal sector provide employment, they drive innovation, and they support economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, despite the bedrock of ingenuity that the industry of SME provides, the informal sector often faces challenges relating to liquidity and lack of financing. Let it be noted, ladies and gentlemen, that the SME have been identified as the country's key engine of economic growth, of employment creation. So knowing all this, how can we support you, Your Excellency, to drive this? How can we promote the growth of Mombasa County through financing? Well, the most important thing, in my opinion, are social protection programs, which play a key role for business owners and workers to build human capital, prevent the sale of productive assets in case of shock, and promote savings to build resilience. As we've seen in the last 2 years, with no savings to fall back on, COVID-19 decimated the livelihoods of all our residents in Mombasa and beyond. It has been an uphill task, for example, to revive tourism and hospitality and industry sectors, but it is a challenge we relish. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, your manifesto agenda, which I've really read back and forth and back, touching on the thematic area of revitalizing Mombasa County and economy, resonates very well with the role and mandate of the cooperative movement. And as a representative of the cooperative movement, I am especially pleased to be able to reflect on the honors that we cooperators have placed on ourselves in supporting the SME sector and informal traders, with over 30,000 members in the region that have grown over a span of 40 years that we have been in existence as a cooperative and 10 years since we've opened the branch here in Mombasa. We can attribute our success to the partnership that we have had with the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce. We would also like to take a moment, ladies and gentlemen, to reflect and resolve this huge spectrum of medium enterprises to large corporates. And our policies as a cooperative recognizes that the strength of any society as a whole will ultimately depend on each of us to play their roles. Ours is a philosophy of people helping people. And Your Excellency, we resonate very well with your vision and your promise of hard work, hand in hand, to create impact in our society at the household level. Therefore, we seek to work closely with you and broad with partners with a wide range of sectors, from micro lending to retail banking, to offer financial capital to the SMEs and informal sector, to offer LPO financing. And as we offer this, Your Excellency, we request you to assist us get the pending bills sorted from the counties that have really crippled the SME sectors, who are really struggling to make their ends meet. With that support, we are going to be able to reach out to more and empower more. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I am excited to work in collaboration with the new government to hit the ground running and achieve the set goals here tonight. Together, combined social protection and productivity enhancing measures will increase resilience of our informal sector and thus enable us to weather the future shocks. Your Excellency, as TIMA SACCO, we commit that you need a strong support to a supporting team that works behind you. Sometimes we understand the challenges that you face when it comes to payment of salaries, but for those, Your Excellency, that have been our members, we are able to pay them their salaries even as you wait for the government to sort us. So rest assured that we have your support, we have your back, and we shall be able to walk this journey and walk the talk, change Mombasa for good, kwani ni yetu, and with your leadership. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's give Ann Babu a big round of applause. I think the most important thing she said today is there's no day tutaona haki yetu Mombasa. Salaries will be paid whether the government has money or not. Asante sana Ann. Another round of applause for her, kindly. I'm going to call upon my friend, Mr. Mohamed Hersi. Na wafanyabiashara wenzangu muangalie wenye wanachelewesha chakula. Mr. Hersi, please come. He is a respecter of time, so he's going to make it short and to the point. Karibu sana, boss.
Thank you. Our Governor-elect, His Excellency Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir, and our Governor Taita Taveta, my good brother here, Excellency Modime, our Chairman, Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mustafa, and the entire board, and all the business community seated here. Good evening, Assalamu alaikum. I'm here not to give a long speech. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate our Governor-elect, Abdul Samad, for winning to become the Governor of Mombasa. The work ahead of you is huge, but it is possible to fix it. The good thing is that you've been a member of parliament, you've been at national level, but this time round, you're coming to ground level to sort out Mombasa. The fact that you've been in charge of Public Investment Committee, you've held many committees up in Parliament, it means that you have the experience and you have what it takes to sort out Mombasa. Mombasa is not your ordinary city. Mombasa is just not the second city in Kenya. It's the gateway not only to East Africa, but Eastern Africa. We just do not know what we are sitting on. We are sitting on a gold mine called Mombasa. While we may choose to focus on what is not going right, and I'm glad that optimism, I'm an eternal optimist. And that's what all our faith teaches, whether it is Islam, whether it is Christianity, whether it is Judaism, is all about optimism. If you focus too much on what is not working, and you focus too much on the past and this rear mirror, then you'll never move forward. I was just having a chat with a friend, and I told him, our governor coming in, I think he needs to move focus forward so that we can sort out Mombasa and get going. And I have no doubt in my mind that you have what it takes to do that. I'd like to say that our governor-elect reached out to the tourism industry 2-3 months ago, and we gave him our wish list. And even before, even the campaign started fully, he sorted out in many areas that we actually presented to him. He didn't have to do it. He was a member of parliament like anybody else, but he came forward to assist us. Governor, I'd like to say this, Governor-elect, that Mombasa is the gateway not only to Eastern Africa, but also the 6 counties that form the coastal region. When you look at Moi International Airport, 3 days ago, I engaged the general manager of our airport, and he gave me some good news, and he said that Jomo Kenyatta International Airport was given the Category 1 status, which means that it's one of the few airports in Africa where you can fly directly to the US. So the US government came around and said, suppose anything was to go wrong, where do we go next? And they were told, please consider Mombasa. And many of us here may not know that the government invested over 7.2 billion shillings to sort out Mombasa. They may not have sorted out the terminal, but all that investment went to the runway, the modern lighting system, and I'd like to say that today we have one of the most modern lighting systems in Africa. When it came to the security aspect and the audit, Governor-elect, we scored 92%. And when you score 92%, even when you're a student, not only A, but as an A+, which means that Mombasa is now able to, it can be allowed any airline to come here, even right from the US. But I'm not trying to be overly aggressive in pushing for that. But what we want you to do, Governor-elect, you already know where I'm coming from, open skies policies. We've been talking about it for a long time. Open skies policy, just the way logistics and our players in transport, clearing, forwarding, talk passionately about the port. We're also talking passionately about the airport. What's the point of investing 8 billion shillings and you render Mombasa International Airport to be a domestic airport? It simply doesn't make any sense. We are always being told about Zanzibar. Zanzibar discovered tourism just the other day. And today they are ahead of us. But I'm happy for Zanzibar. We should not feel bad that Zanzibar is doing well. When Zanzibar does well, keep in mind that they will also be looking at the neighbors. Where else can we go? So Mombasa in the olden days, somebody will leave Germany and say that they are going to Mombasa. They will not tell you they are going to Kenya. They know Mombasa. And I believe we have what it takes to get back Mombasa to what it has always been. When it comes to tourism, Governor-elect, globally, 10% of formal employment is tourism. Tourism industry You cannot automate it. The ladies and gentlemen serving you here today, you cannot automate that. The chefs and the cooks who make the meal here, that cannot be automated. The driver guides who take you around the city and everywhere, you cannot automate that. It's a seriously labor-intensive industry. And countries like Thailand and countries like Vietnam and many others have actually taken advantage of tourism to be where they are today. So I just want to tell you that you have our full support. You already have our document. I know very well that your doors are open. The other day when I called you, you were very quick to pick my call. We have a long chat as well with our governor from Taita Taveta. And when I look around, all the other governors are people we can work with. And there's no doubt in my mind that we will position Kenya Coast where it's supposed to be. You are inheriting a beautiful infrastructure. When you drive on that Makupa bridge today, I think I'd like to thank His Excellency, the President, for making it happen. I did not know that he was going to take such a short span. But today, driving on a four-lane bridge is something many of us never thought will happen. And looking at Dogo Kundu, I think sky is not the limit. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I choose to remain an optimist because Mombasa will go places with your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hensi. Thank you, my friend. I would like to take a detour, kidogo, and invite. We've been blessed by the presence of the chairman of Kenya International Freight and Warehousing Association. So he's here with some of his directors. One of them is also a director of the Kenya National Chamber. So I would like to invite Roy. Please come and just say hi. One word, hi, hello, hi, and then you go back, please. Mr. Roy, Bwana Chairman, karibu.
Governor-elect, His Excellency Abdulswamad Sharif Nassir, Governor for Taita Taveta, His Excellency Andrew Mwadime, Chairman, Kenya National Chamber and Commerce, Mr. Mustafa, other chairmen of the business community, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm going to be very brief. I want to take this opportunity first to congratulate our brother, His Excellency Bwana Abdul Swamad, for your election. That was well-deserved win. We as business community and me as the chairman of Kenya International Freight and Warehousing Association, we will support you, we will stand with you, we will move together to improve the economy of Mombasa. I want to request you to keep an eye on the operations of the Port of Mombasa. If it is humanly possible, get a permanent representative in the meetings that take place about the Port of Mombasa. Of course, I also want to request you to keep an eye and a push for the special economic zones, because that will boost the economy of this city very greatly. Also, equally, Bwana Governor-elect, our city needs to be very clean. For it to regain our tourism, we need to up our game. The heads of department in that section, kindly push them to up the game. We need our city to be very clean. In fact, we can surpass Kigali. If Mombasa is checked properly and well maintained, we can surpass Kigali. So, Governor, we know you are tried and tested, and you are up to the game. So, I want to wish you well, and probably the last one, and because I know you are approachable, and many people have said, us as forwarders, Krelin and the forwarding, we feel that our license, our professional license is 40,000 Kenya shillings, payable to Kenya Revenue Authority. But the county government, the previous regime, did not listen to us. Our licenses ranged up to 70,000 shillings. I'm very much sure that you will listen to us and you will get that reviewed downwards to cushion the business community. I don't want to speak much, but I want to wish you well, Bwana Governor. If you need us, we shall be available to support you. Thank you very much and have a blessed weekend ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Roy.
I would like to, we had an omission, the vice chair, the information did not actually reach her, it is not on her. We are actually honored to have from the tea industry, the chairman of the East African Tea Trade Association, Mr. Arthur Sewe, who has joined us here. We also have Mr. Tom Muchura, again from the tea industry. Thank you for joining us. So, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. On behalf of the Board of Directors and the entire Mombasa business community, please accept our warm congratulations on your victory and my best wishes for your success as you prepare to take up the responsibilities and challenges of your office as Governor of Mombasa. As you embark upon your new responsibilities, I wish to assure you and the people in your administration of our continued support and collaboration. I look forward to working with you not only to develop closer relations between the county government and the private sector, but also in our efforts in the cause of economic development. Ladies and gentlemen, the problems facing humanity and the planet are now acknowledged as being too large to be tackled by the public institutions only. Achievements of sustainable development rely on all actors of the society. All stakeholders, governments, civil society, the private sector, and others are expected to contribute to the realization of the new agenda. Private sector increasingly plays an important role as an engine of economic growth and job creation. It provides goods and services, generates tax revenues to finance essential social and economic infrastructure, develops new and innovative solutions that help tackle development challenges, and is a central actor in addressing climate change. The role that the private sector plays in development is also broadening from the conventional approach of supporting the economic development to more inclusive and elaborated public-private partnerships. As such, the private sector has become an important strategic partner for county governments in achieving their vision to help eradicate poverty and reduce inequalities and exclusion within the broader sustainable development. Mombasa once upon a time had a well-established industrial sector comprised of large and small-scale manufacturing enterprises, almost halfway engaged in agro-processing with oil refining, cement productions, textiles and apparel. Mombasa County should be a prosperous city, offering plentiful economic opportunities to its population. In practice, however, Mombasa has not yet realized its potential. Services and infrastructure are increasingly inadequate, and about a quarter of its households fall below an absolute poverty line. Mombasa has always had a diverse economy based on trade and commerce, tourism and manufacturing. However, none of these sectors is as prosperous as it used to be. Ladies and gentlemen, counties differ from each other in many dimensions. They play different roles within the national economy. They are specialized in different sectors. Their workforces have different skill profiles. They are served by different infrastructure and have different natural endowments. Economic development policies at all levels of government need to be tailored to the circumstances of each county in order to be effective. County governments are essential actors in economic development in Kenya. Ideally, they play a key role in the implementation of national economic development programs, and they pursue local economic development policies to strengthen economic growth. However, county policies often center on service delivery rather than on economic development policy. Likewise, national governments do not always recognize the centrality of county governments in implementing national economic policy. County economic development policies need to strike a balance. They need to be aligned with national economic policy priorities, but they also need to be adapted to the local context. While it is impossible to provide a blueprint for strategies that work in every context, some principles are useful to bear in mind in building local economic development policies. Coordinated policy packages are more effective than isolated initiatives. Successful local economic development policies address multiple dimensions and help to ensure that all conditions necessary for developing economic activity are in place. Isolated policy initiatives often fail because they can rarely remove all the bottlenecks that hold back economic development. Number two, identifying and utilizing a county's competitive advantage is a critical function of local economic development policy. It is particularly important for economically lagging counties to attract economic activities. Counties need to identify attributes that distinguish them from their competitors and to use these attributes in their economic development policies. In many cases, advantages can result from the complementarities and synergies with neighboring counties. Mombasa County should thus consider not only their own strengths and weaknesses, but also their situation in the broader national and regional context. At the county level, it is easier to stimulate economic development based on existing economic activity than to facilitate entirely new economic activities. Ladies and gentlemen, as we usher in our new governor into office, allow me to outline broadly some of the expectations of the Mombasa business community. Number one, land and natural resources. We hope the incoming governor and his administration will ensure landowners in Mombasa are facilitated to develop their land or properties. Number two, revenue transparency. In as much as we have our asks from the governor-elect, tax revenue is the most important, reliable, and sustainable means of resourcing initiatives that contribute to the realization of economic development. Businesses are significant contributors to tax revenue. Like many other jurisdictions, Mombasa County faces challenges concerning revenue mobilization and the link to business activities. Among them, evasion of payment of taxes, permits, licenses, and levies. These practices result in reduction of the resources available for investment in essential social services, fostering inequalities, undermining economic and social institutions, and even discouraging transparencies in matters of public finance. The Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry has identified several challenges that affect revenue transparency that has continued to contribute to non-compliance by most businesses. Number one, corruption in the process of revenue collection and the management of public revenue. Number two, lack of disclosure of contracts, particularly those that have significant economic and social consequences. A good example is the SGR contract signed by the national government. Number three, lack of transparency in administration and management of revenues from collected taxes, levies, and licensing activities. Our expectation is that the incoming governor will run a transparent administration that will restore the confidence of the business community. And I urge everyone to pay their fair share of local taxes and levies. Number three, environmental protection. Your Excellency, the Mombasa business community expects a clean county where they can enjoy living and doing business. The solid waste management problem that has been dogging the county for years needs a new and holistic approach. Number four, you've talked about these issues severally, but It is something that keeps coming up, pending bills. In the 2021-2022 budget, as part of the economic stimulus packages to enhance liquidity and mitigate the adverse impacts of COVID-19, the government directed a payment of 13.1 billion to clear pending bills. The 2022 budget focused on implementation of policy measures aimed at stimulating resilience and economic recovery. Pending bills arise when a government entity fails to settle invoiced amounts for goods and services properly procured or rendered. These bills include payments to contractors, suppliers, statutory deductions, and pension arrears. Outstanding bills erode investors' confidence. Thus, counties lose reliable suppliers and contractors. Also, delayed payments cause constraints to the entities doing business with the government. Your Excellency, as you assume office, the business community requests that you audit and pay the 4.29 billion in pending bills owed by the county. As I conclude, Your Excellency, while there are competing needs and the incoming government has its priorities set, the business community is anticipating a renewed business environment with policies and investments that focus on micro, small, and medium enterprises, creating a conducive environment for big companies to flourish while opening up the county to trade with the world by easing the cost of doing business. This, in the long run, will protect local businesses from external shocks. As KNCCI and the entire private sector in Mombasa, we will work with you and support you to implement and achieve the promises you made in your manifesto. That is our commitment tonight, even as we identify and highlight the pain points businesses in Mombasa are going through. We must also be able to offer practical solutions as well. Asanteni sana. It is now my pleasure to welcome our chief guest, the Governor-elect of Mombasa, Abdul Samad Sharif Nasser.
Amjambo. Hello? Okay. Is it my ears? Yeah, now this is better. Ladies and gentlemen, before I commence, my brother, who I have served with in Parliament for the last 10 years, coincidentally happens to be the current governor of Taita Taveta, ndugu yangu Andrew Mwadime, who defied all odds, stood on an independent ticket and took the seat overwhelmingly. Ameapishwa. My elections were delayed. His went on time, so I told him at any given time, his salary will be about 3 weeks more than me, even by the time, yeah.
It's okay. Okay, thank you. Governor-elect, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's my pleasure. You know, there is nothing which is as good as you are elected and at the same time your friend is elected and he invites you in such a forum. Thank you, Governor-elect. You have been tried, tested, and you are able. You are up to the task. Yaliyopita si ndwele, tugange yajayo. What has been happening in the past, focus in the future. You know, if you conduct SWOT analysis, the weaknesses and threats of Mombasa County, they are normally weakened or lessened by your sister counties around, Taita Taveta being one of them. And at the same time, the strengths and the opportunities are contributed by your sister counties, Taita Taveta being one of them. Manufacturers, porters, when you are talking about your expansion plans, don't leave out Taita Taveta in its entirety. That is dry ports, and of course expansion of these industries. Think about Taita Taveta. I know we have undergone hard times, difficult times because of COVID-19. But I'm sure tukiwa pamoja sote, we shall overcome everything. Taita Taveta County, it has opportunities. Also direct your plans to Taita Taveta County. Because same challenges faced by Mombasa County, job opportunities, and many others, they're the same challenges facing Taita Taveta County. Mimi siongei mengi, leo ni siku ya investors wa Mombasa na ndugu yangu Abdul Samad, governor-elect. So the same you're doing to Mombasa, extend the olive branch to Taita Taveta. Otherwise, I don't have much. Mheshimiwa Samadi, njoo uendelee na wananchi wako na wafanyie yale uliongea kwa manifesto yako. So investors of Mombasa, let's work pamoja. Hizi challenges ziko hapa na zile ziko kule Taita Taveta, tukabiliane nazo zote kwa pamoja. Asanteni sana.
Now, this is better. My late father taught me, try your best to be very brief when people are talking, when eating. So, I will try my best to be extremely brief. I want to point out a disclaimer. Amongst us here, there are very high chances that those who voted for me, and equally high chances those who did not vote for me as well. That is normal, isn't it? But now I just want us to be able to agree on one thing. Enough of politics in Mombasa, we need to move on. Those who voted for me, those that did not vote for me, my intention is one. I intend to be your governor for the next 10 years, so it is up to me to lose this seat. We met with a number of stakeholders. And right now, I think it is no longer an issue of just us meeting. The main reason why I asked for us to be able to have this engagement today was I needed to re-emphasize the fact that we need to now put everything else aside and move on. Make Mombasa what it is, make Mombasa what it deserves to be. I was listening to Mohammed Hersi. 10% of global employment coming from the tourism sector. Yet, according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, only 4% of Mombasa's income is derived from tourism, direct amounts. Questions of what we need to do. I need to lay it out in our manifesto. We talked about conference tourism. I have some good news. I'm already going through 2 files as we are speaking. And I'm hoping that immediately after being sworn in, I shall be doing a groundbreaking for institutions that want to put up conference facilities in Mombasa. That shall be an advantage and an added amount of tourism in Mombasa. We need to battle it out together. We cannot have an airport that has been built into figures of about 7+ billion shillings and to be able to do nothing else except do domestic flights. I have a feeling with the right presidency, things are going to be extremely smooth. But even so, with any presidency, as long as there's that element of common desire for growth, any single person should be able to accept the fact that we need open sky policies in Mombasa. And it is something that we're going to be fighting for. We were able to talk, and I think this was a request that came from those in the hospitality industry, where they suggested that instead of having so many taxes and levies from the county government, what if we peg one particular figure based on a percentage on sales? And I'm up to that challenge, because I know under my stewardship you will grow. And when you do grow, that means that it is extra income that will be able to serve the people of Mombasa. So I've already tasked, today I had the first meeting, first formal engagement with the county teams, where they were starting to prep me up on what it is that I should expect when I take over after being sworn in, which by the way is on 15th of this month. I hope that Mustafa will be extending invitations on our behalf to all the members here, and we hope to see you there. Now, money has been poured. Taz Nawakas Kizima. I want to address this to Kifwa and Kenya Transport Association together. Because the industry that you have, I don't think during my life in Parliament, we tackled so many challenges that were there. And the last one, you know, the elephant in the room, that notion of Regesheni Port, Mombasa, has now been tied down to only one thing, which, by the way, is unconstitutional, and your county government will be fighting this to the highest level of courts. Right now, they're only using one thing. If your PIN is not for Mombasa, then collect your cargo in Nairobi, and the cargo is being transported through SGR. That is totally wrong. And I gave an example today. I hold an identity card from Kibera in Nairobi. Don't ask me how my ID is from Kibera. But my identity card is from Kibera. But I became a member of parliament from Vita constituency for 10 years. And right now I'm the governor-elect, and I intend to be the governor for another 10 years. It does not mean just because someone registered their PIN in Nairobi, it gives no institution the right to direct and force cargo to be collected at certain areas. That is totally wrong. In fact, in my last weeks of parliament, that is the issue that I was actually trying to fight. Parliament went on recess, Little did they realize, or did they know, that I was going to end up being governor, so things are a bit worse on that angle. But equally, and this is something that I'm hoping that everyone will be able to support us on, we shouldn't just be talking about returning port services to Mombasa. We need to start the discussion of having a stake in the port of Mombasa.